Hello, this is Eddie Mendoza, and welcome to Pathways of Hope. Imagine the disciples gathered in one room that night. The Gospel of John says that the disciples are afraid of the Jewish leaders, probably because they might be singled out as loyal followers of Jesus and maybe arrested and executed just like Jesus. They lock the doors, keep the lights dim, and speak in hushed voices. Now, my friends, I don't know about you, but I think that the disciples are not afraid just of the authorities. I imagine that they must have felt a deep sense of guilt and remorse. Their beloved teacher and master, Jesus, was arrested, tried, tortured, and crucified. And all of them ran in panic and fear, and they abandoned him and left him alone through his trial, torture, and crucifixion. Maybe this night they were even rationalizing their own behavior to each other. But I'm almost sure all of them must have felt profound guilt, shame, and remorse. And now there's this puzzling news that Jesus has risen. What? Jesus is alive? They look at each other with mixed feelings. Yes, there was joy and relief, but each one is also probably thinking, wow, if he's alive, what will he say to us? Will he even come and join us ever again? After all, we abandoned him. Will he still want to be with us? I mean, how do we explain our behavior to him? Then, all of a sudden, Jesus stands among them. Everybody's speechless. They hold their breath. And when Jesus speaks his very first word, he does not accuse, he does not warn, he does not lash out in disappointment. No, no. And before anyone can speak, before anyone can approach him and beg for his forgiveness, Jesus says, "Peace be with you." He knows they abandoned him. He knows. But he does not ask, "Why? Where were you? Why did you abandon me? Where were you when I needed you?" Instead, his first greeting is a greeting of reconciliation and pardon. Not even hi nor hello, but peace be with you. Jesus restores them before they can defend themselves, before they ask for forgiveness, before they rationalize, before they prove anything. He offers peace and forgiveness. Peace and forgiveness. My dear friends, this is the heart of the gospel. This is the key message of the life of Jesus ending in his cross. And of all the lessons we need to learn from the commemoration of Holy Week and the Resurrection Week, it is summed up in this one word: forgiveness. Forgiveness. Now, let me ask, how many of us carry some quiet guilt? Mm, Maybe unresolved shame or memories of when we failed God? Maybe we're active in church and community, and maybe we serve. We attend, we even attempt a life of discipleship, but who knows? Maybe somewhere inside we wonder, what does Jesus really think of me? Today, during the end of the Easter octave, today, let us listen again to his first word to each one of us. And that word is peace. Not because we got it right, not because we were faithful or because he is, but because he is merciful, full of grace. My friends, I don't know what burdens you carried with you as you journeyed with Jesus during this last Holy Week and these post resurrection days. I don't know. Maybe you gained strength and hope amid your personal adversities and suffering. And I hope you were inspired by the calmness of Jesus during his suffering and death, and that you felt encouraged by the resurrection story. Praise God. Maybe you were encouraged about how you yourself are able to overcome and rise above your serious problems and trials, the way Jesus was victorious over his death. Again, praise God. But listen, today, after you have heard the story of the fear and the guilt and the anxiety of the disciples, let us reflect on our own unworthiness and betrayal of the love of God, our disobedience to his commands and his will, our own self centeredness, our idols that we value more than anything else that Jesus offers, and our token acceptance of the good news and abandonment of all that Jesus demands of us to shine our light, to shine his light. And let us call this to mind. Let's remember this. Right now, let's remember and admit that we don't deserve any consolation. We don't deserve any relief. We don't deserve any gesture of love from Jesus because we are sinners. And you know what? The moment we do begin to feel genuine remorse and admit in our heart that we are not worthy and we that we don't deserve any grace, the moment you admit that, don't be surprised that Jesus will appear before you in your moment of remorse. Don't be surprised that he will show you the nail in his hands, the nail wounds in his hands, and then the wound in his side. And then he will say to you, peace be with you. I forgive you. This, my dear friends, is the best way to appreciate the blood that Jesus shed on the cross. Today, on the Easter octave, may the story of the resurrection of Jesus and his appearance and his offer of peace and forgiveness restore you and me back into the gracious arms of God. God bless us all.